Man, I feel bored. Maybe I will play some more Thunder.
Hold on, Doctor! I heard you talked about War Thunder. That game is truly glorious.
Indeed I was. I always thought you played that game too. What's your favorite tank?
Mine would be the KV-1 and KV-2 heavy tank. And did you ever heard about the story of Tank Alley?
No, but you got me interested heavy.
Okay, my friend. The story of Tank Alley is about one KV-1 destroying 22 German tanks and 20 tanks guns, which is very impressive. Plus, the KV-1 took 156 hits and none penetrated the armor. The KV-1 is truly a fucking beast.
Indeed heavy. That is really impressive, and I can show respect of the both of them to be a very powerful beast, as it was one of the strongest tanks within the Soviet Union. And my favorite tank would be the Tiger tank. It was one of the most powerful tanks ever mass-produced in World War II. It was in many battles throughout the war, including the Battle of Kursk, which was the largest tank battle in history. The Tiger tank destroyed many Russian tanks during the battle. The Tiger is truly a legend.
You have a very good taste in tanks, Medic. The Tiger is truly a monster to be feared. I bet you feel like a fucking juggernaut just by using that tank, and I bet you play Battlefield 5 The Last Tiger.
I do love to play The Last Tiger, as it was the best campaign out of all the others in Battlefield 5. It felt like a lot of fun destroying American tanks with the Tiger tank, especially those German Firefly tanks.
Battlefield 5 sucks big ass.
The game isn't perfect, but there are two scenes. One, the Last Tiger campaign was worth it just for the emotional event. Second, at least my mojo isn't worse than yours, and you keep on getting rejected every woman on Earth.
Go suck a dick, sauerkraut.
What's up, maggots? I heard you guys talking about tanks.
Well, yes, we've been talking about World War II tanks.
Hell yeah, I love the Sherman Firefly tanks, as they are capable of taking out even the best German tanks, and that would include the Panzer's tanks and even the Tiger tanks. But there can only be one tank that can truly lead the Sherman tanks to victory against fascism and communism, and that would be my favorite tank, the Mi-26 Pershing tank.
An interesting choice for a tank, soldier. The Mi-26 Pershing is indeed an impressive tank and could definitely go toe-to-toe with heavy tanks like the Tiger IS do.
I know it did not see much action in Europe as it was deployed in the last months of World War II, but however it did see action in the Korean War.
Indeed, heavy, and it stopped the North Korean G-34s in their tracks and saved South Korea from being taken over by those North Korean commie bastards. But it is a shame we couldn't liberate North Korea from communist rule if it wasn't for that damn commie bastard Mao Zedong. Korea would be united under freedom and democracy.
Sup, guys? What's going on? I know you guys talking about the history of the Korean War.
Oi, Scout! We were just talking about tanks in War Thunder.
So you guys are talking about what's on the tanks. That's awesome.
What about you, Scout? What is your favorite World War II tank? Let me guess. Is it shitty Japanese tanks like the Type 95 Algo Light tank, or is it the Karo Armata Mi-30 tank? Because if it is, I will be very disappointed, and both Italian and Japanese tanks are nothing but fucking garbage compared to American tanks.
To answer your question, soldier, Japanese tanks and Italian tanks are nothing but dumb, if proven absolutely useless against Allies tank. My favorite tank would be the Mi-20 light tank. Another Mi-20 light tank is not perfect, but it can go fast and medium and heavy tanks, and it would have no problems ripping apart tanks like the Type 95 Algo Light tanks and those Italians Karo Armata Mi-30 tanks.
Hell yeah, General Armquist would be proud of you, Scout, for choosing an American tank, even if it is a light tank.
Honestly, the Mi-24 Chafe light tank isn't the best tank, but at least it's not baby the Japanese tanks and the Italian tanks.
I see you're all having quite a discussion about War Thunder. It's my favorite hobby I do ever since I need to take off some stress from some detective work. My favorite tank would be the Charlie 1 heavy tank, as it was the most powerful tank in the French army in World War II.
It wasn't enough to stop the Panzer tanks, but I do respect your people's determination. Like that one time our lone Chao B1 tank went on a rampage, destroying an entire company of tanks.
Hey lads! Are we supposed to be going out for battle?
We are discussing about War Thunder tanks?
Oh hell yes! That's one of my favorite games. I usually play the game every time I'm done watching a good war movie that involves Planes and tanks! My favorite tank is the Centurion Mark III, and it was the first main battle tank. It was the greatest beast of a tank with its massive 84mm ordnance of 20 quarter-pounder gun. Its normal rounds can penetrate through a tiger tooth armor from 1 kilometer away. It can make one of the toughest armors look like you're ripping through wood, and it gets even better with even more powerful hands. That means a battle tank makes it feel like you're driving a heavier armored tank destroyer. Not even one of the most OP tanks can survive it.
That's a very good tank, damn him! Well, it never saw action in World War II since it entered service with the British Army in 1946, which was a year after World War II ended, but I can definitely agree about it being a very good tank!
Thank you, Heavy. It may never have saw action in World War II, but it did see action in a lot of other wars like the Yom Kippur War, for example, when the Israelis were using Centurion tanks against T-55 tanks being used by the Egyptians and Syrians in the end. Of course, the Centurion proved to be much better than those shitty Soviet T-55 tanks, and the only thing the T-55 was good for was being mass-produced in large numbers.
You have a very good taste of tanks. The Centurion is a very good tank, especially against the Soviet T-55's tanks, but you know what else was a good main battle tank? The M48 Patton. Named after the great American General George Patton, the M48 Patton tank is reliable and a good tank to use on the battlefield. It also saw a lot of action in multiple wars like the Vietnam War and the Six-Day War. If the Soviet Union was to invade Western Europe, I am sure M48 Patton would destroy those T-55 tanks and Bempy 1s and push those commie bastard back behind the Iron Curtain.
Did I hear something about tanks?
Yes, Sniper, we are talking about tanks.
Oh, the bloody tanks. Tank destroyers are my favorite. Like the Archer tank destroyer. It has a very powerful gun that could even penetrate the bomb of the Tiger, but if I had to choose a tank in World War II, which is the Cromwell tank, maybe not the best tank, but still a good tank, I sometimes also play the SU-100 as well. Its armor so freaking OP.
Although except for the backside.
Interesting sniper, but if World War III was to begin, and if I had to choose a tank, I would choose the M1 Abrams main battle tank, as it is one of the best tanks in the world, and it would have a balance of speed and fight, but it has proven to be a very powerful tank. Like the Gulf War, for example, the Abrams tanks rip apart those T-70 like they were Swiss cheese Abrams. It's truly a beast of the 21st century.
Hell yeah, Scout the Abrams would be my tank for World War III, and yeah, the Abrams rip apart those commie T-70s like they were nothing, and the United States liberated Kuwait from that fascist bastard Saddam Hussein. I would beat the shit out of him, tie a rope to his legs to my Abrams tank and drag him to death across the streets of Baghdad.
Jesus, soldier, that would be a fucked up way to kill Saddam Hussein, but he would deserve it, especially for the shit he has done.
Well, if I was to fight in the early Cold War against the Russians, I would definitely choose the X-50 tank and destroy some tanks. With it, I would truly dominate the battlefield.
Please, for the love of God, don't tell me there's another argument going on here.
We are just talking about tanks from World War II to the Cold War.
Tanks, well, my favorite would be the M18 Hellcat tank destroyer. It was the most effective in World War II. Also, higher kill-to-loss ratio than any other tank or tank destroyer fielded by this military. 526 kills in that order. But if I was to choose a tank for World War III, I would choose the K2 Black Panther main battle tank, as it is one of the most advanced tanks in the world, plus it would be more than a match for North Korean tanks.
Well, the K2 Black Panther looks like a very powerful tank, I have no doubt about that. It looks like it would be capable of taking on everything the North Koreans throw at it.
I overheard you guys talking about the K2 Black Panther main battle tank.
Well, yes, we have been talking about our favorite tanks, and what is your favorite tank, Pyro?
Well, I love airplanes more than tanks, but if I had to choose, I would probably choose the N4 Sherman tank, as the Allies were to equip those tanks with flamethrowers against Axis troops in World War II like the Churchill Crocodile.
I see you love airplanes more than tanks, but I would like to ask Pyro, what is your favorite airplane?
Well, my favorite airplane would be the F4 Phantom, as I would love to drop napalm on my enemies. The F4 Phantom is a great American aircraft, as it was used a lot in the Vietnam War against Viet Cong. Although it did lose, in total 445 Phantoms were lost during the conflict. But overall a really good jet.
So we're all talking about War Thunder, huh? Well, I prefer the M60. The M60 tank is pretty good. It has a really good armor and it can actually take a hit. It can take a hit from light tanks through medium tanks, hell, even sometimes heavier tanks. Plus I love it when the machine gun on top is on the turret. It does have its weakness too, like the turret, for example, near the ring of the turret. But still, I love it nonetheless. And of course the M551 Sheridan is really good. A personal good scout tank, and it has the best weapon of all, a missile top launcher. For World War II, I would go with the Centurion Mark III and the Jumbo tank. The Centurion Mark III has one of those biggest and mightiest guns that will make you say, God save the Queen. With its 84mm 24-pounder gun, it is, well, one hell of a beast of a gun that can take down a Tiger II from 1 kilometer away. It can turn any Tiger tank into German sausage.
Doggo, I always wanted to get that tank, but I'm always a penny short. You really have a good taste of tanks, little mate.
Hello?
Hey, Kai! Hot chocolate is ready. Are you coming back to the cabin or not?
Yeah, sure, I'm coming. But also, I'm bringing the TF2 gang along if you don't mind.
Yeah, sure! Also tell Scout I'm ready for a rematch on the Wii Sports! Wait, I also forgot to mention, everyone is here, but also don't forget about the Christmas presents!
Babe, remember we wrapped them up yesterday?
Oh, yeah. Sorry, sweet cake. Anyhow, see you there!
Alright guys, I'll be there. Make sure the hot chocolate is warm for me, okay? Alright, see you there.
Here you go, Dad. I got you a great present. I hope you'll love it.
Thank you, son. I can't wait to see what's inside.
Oh my god, a good in German, Thank
Thank you, son.
Yeah, no problem, Pops.